What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. So in this video I have done an interview with one of the Stock Market Lab members. He is the trader of the month for the month of August. So a little backstory on this trader. His name is Arshad and he is only 19 years old, and the crazy part about all of this is in just the month of August he has made a little over $100,000 just from trading, which is it's insane. It's mind-blowing. And in the past 2 months, in July and August, he has made a little over $190,000 combined. So with that being said, I was like, you know what? We need to get this guy on. We need to, share his journey, his mindset, his approach for trading with all of you guys, so you guys can learn a little bit from it, and so can I. So I'm super excited to share this with you guys, and I hope you guys learn a lot from this interview. In this video, I'm super excited to announce Stock Market Lab's Trade of the Month, which is Arshad. Arshad has earned a little over $94,000 day trading in just the month of August. And in the past 2 months, he's up over $187,000. Just to kind of put things into perspective and show you guys everything, you guys can see this is his account from Interactive Brokers, as you guys can see in my screen. And this is all his data and insights. In the past 2 months, he's up a little over $187,000. And in this video, we are going to dive into his stats and understand his journey as a trader, just so you guys can get a better understanding. What's going on, man? How you doing?
Hey, Omar. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for joining, man. When I saw your month in August, I was like, whoa, we gotta get you on here. And we got to understand your journey, because I'm pretty sure everyone can learn a little bit, including myself, and just kind of take, a few nuggets from you just to see what you're doing, so we can all do that too and replicate a similar amount of success.
Oh, yes. It's a privilege to be here, and I'm happy to be here and help everyone out.
Thank you so much. So let's dive into your trading journey, right? Let's go right into it and break everything down. So obviously you had a great month in August. It wasn't a swing month where you just held one contract or a few calls or swung trade something. You actually day traded based on the information we have. And not only was it just August, you've also replicated that success in July and so on. So let's start off with, when did you get started in trading?
Right. So, I actually got into just the markets in general back in August of 2019. And it's basically just from following you on Instagram and stuff. But I had the interest there. But I wasn't part of SML yet. I didn't really know much. I think I just watched a couple YouTube videos. I read this book called The New Trading for a Living. But I opened my first account in August of 2019 with about 3K. And I doubled it in like 2 weeks. And at the time, again, I didn't know much at all. And without risk management, of course, I blew that account in literally the next week.
Wow.
So I took a step back then. And I did a little more research maybe. I was in university at the time, of course, but I did whatever studies I could. And I opened another account with 4K this time. Once again, blew it without any risk management whatsoever. I didn't really know what I was doing, so I blew it. And then I decided that if I was really serious about it, I needed to invest in some sort of formal education, because I really liked what I was doing, even though I took that $7,000 loss. So what I did was, I knew you were releasing the online course for Stock Market Lab. So what I did was I wanted to get into the first batch of the online training in October, but it sold out in like 30 seconds. So I somehow managed to get into the November course. I did the course. I studied the course till I'd say about December, Jan of 2020. And I knew that trading wasn't easy money like many people make it out to seem, right? So what I did was, instead of diverting my time between university and trading, essentially, I wanted to dedicate myself to something that I was really passionate about, which at the time I thought was trading. So I decided to take a gap year, and I came back home in Jan end 2020, and I opened my newest the account that I have right now in Feb of 2020 with about $4,000, and that's when I started trading.
Wow, nice. Okay, so you got on your journey in August 2019, about a year ago. You became part of SML towards the end of the year, so you opened your real account this February.
Right.
Right. Wow. Okay. So wow, that's amazing. And how much did you start your account with?
I started with 4,000 in Feb. And I didn't want to add more, because I really wanted to just build that consistency and the confidence in taking trades, right?
Okay.
So I did all right for the month of February, and I think this was around the time that the market started dumping as well because of COVID, right? So I mean, surely there was a bit of luck there with my timing because there were these huge down moves to the downside. So I did capitalize a little bit, and I think in February I think I made about $4,000 in profit. So I essentially doubled the account. But with that, I guess I did gain some consistency, not consistency, but a little more confidence in what I was doing. So I added 10,000 at the end of Feb, and yeah, that's how much I started with and how much I added.
So you added 10K. So your total start capital was about 14K, right?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So now when you started, what did you start off trading? Did you jump right into options? Because I know right now you're trading options. So did you jump in trading options, or were you trading stocks? What was your go-to?
I actually never traded stocks. I have tried to trade penny stocks every now and then, but that was more recently. But I started with options, yeah, because I did the SML course, right? And I sort of knew what I was getting into. And I know you say that you wouldn't recommend it, and I guess I wouldn't recommend it either. But I did start with options, yeah.
No, that's fine. I think that comes down to the person. Some people have great discipline, great risk management, and they're able to stay alive while trading options. I think most people that are all over the place and have no self-control or discipline, them starting off with options, I think, is not a smart idea because typically most people end up blowing the few accounts.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. All right. So you started in February with 10, 14K. Now, when you started, what were your expectations? Because obviously, if I'll be honest, when I started, it took me 2 years. So me starting in February of this year, I wouldn't anticipate of having 100K or making 200K in a span of 2 months. So when you started, what was what was in your mindset of trading? Were you like, oh, I'm going to get this down in a month, or did you know this is going to take some time?
Okay, no, I definitely did not expect to be here at such an early point in my journey. When I started, I knew that it was going to be slow. I expected it to be slow because I'd already lost $7,000, and I was already working through other emotional issues when trading because I lost 7,000, and then I'd also given up a lot to take this gap year and dedicate myself to trading, right? So my expectations definitely weren't to make $200,000 a year. I just wanted to take good trades, build the discipline, build the consistency, and get that confidence. I did have some long-term goals with trading because I was dedicating 100% of my time to it, right? So I didn't want to just waste it, essentially. So I only had one goal, and that was to make 50,000 by the time I turned 20, which is November and November beginning. But other than that, my expectations were just consistency and confidence.
And just to kind of put this out there, guys, he's only 19. I found that out today too. And I was honestly blown away. I was like 19. I remember at 19, bro, me at 19, I was still figuring trading out. I think I got consistent with trading at the age of 20. So about 2 years into trading, and I didn't have my first 100K month, I think, until 22 or 23. That was when I had my first 100K month. And when I had it, I was just like, holy shit. You know what I mean? I was like, wow. But it did not happen until 23. Yeah. I can only imagine 19. That's amazing, man. Okay, so now I'm gonna open up your stats a little bit, and then we're gonna dive into deeper questions of your trading. So right now, I only have his stats from July and August, right? So now, when you started trading in February, how is your trading curve like? How did it go? Because I know obviously in July and August you did very, very, very well. So how did it go before that? So let's go into March.
It was sort of erratic. I wasn't consistent. I'd say I'd have maybe 2-3 green days every week, and some of my losing days would be bigger than the green days. But essentially, I had a plan when I started trading, and I wasn't sizing up abnormally. I was sort of able to control and not overtrade to the point that if I was taking a loss, I would start adding size because I'd already lost. Once again, I'd already lost $7,000, and I wasn't prepared to blow this account as well. So I was just taking it slow. So sure, I mean, I made money in February, but it wasn't the most consistent. And there were certainly perhaps even just single days that made my weeks green, not consistent profits in that sense, yeah.
Okay, so now when you did start, because I think this is very helpful for people that are starting out, what were some precautions you took? So obviously you knew you wanted to go into options. Now going into options, your foundation that you built when you start out to build momentum, what was it like? Were you focusing on a few set of stocks originally? Were you still trying to find what your trading style was? Like what happened in the beginning? So we start from February till March. Like what was that process like, those 2 months?
Right. So, I mean, I did have a specific watch list. I wasn't trading stuff based off news at that time. Like, let's say like today, if Peloton has news, I might trade it. But back then, I definitely wouldn't do that. I was sticking to my main watch list of like Alibaba, not even Tesla and Amazon at that time. The smaller name stocks like Apple, Nvidia, AMD, stuff like that. So I did stick to a specific like few stocks, and yeah, I figured out my trading style. I mean, sort of like you and Usman were scalpers primarily, right? And like I was learning from y'all. So what I did was I figured that if I try and replicate the whole scalping strategy, because I could learn the best from y'all. So I did that, and then I also realized that my personality sort of aligns with a scalper's personality in the sense that in life in general and in trading, I'm sort of impatient, and I like to be in control of things. So when I enter my positions, I do not want to leave things to chance. So if I, like for a day trader, if I'm entering Amazon calls, like at any point the market could dump and change the whole situation. So what I like to do is I like to be in control of the entire position like through and through. So I sort of figured that scalping, I would be in the most control. And that sort of aligned with my personality. So I was just able to, get that click.
Yeah, no, I think you brought up a great point. I think most people that start out, and I bring this out for them too, and I think even people that are trading, that you have to trade accordingly to your personality. Like I know certain people that are like super like patient, and they're not fast paced, they're not fast on their feet, and they want to scalp. And I'm like, I'm not saying it's impossible, but for you to scalp, you have to be very quick on your feet and be able to process things at a very fast level and have, great execution. And it's like, if that doesn't align with your personality, then that's not the trading style you should pick. So I think that's a great point you brought up, just knowing yourself and knowing your personality and knowing what trading style kind of fits and maximizing that instead of saying, you know what, I don't know myself, I don't know anything, I'm just going to replicate whatever someone else does, which is not a good way to go, because I've even learned throughout the years that the best way to trade is what fits your personality, like you mentioned. And it's great that you picked up early on. Bro, people don't pick that up for 2 years or even 3 years. You know what I mean?
Definitely. I'd say all it really takes is like, if you really just want to find out your personality and your trading personality, is you just have to take a weekend off and you just have to look like deeper inside and figure out what makes you tick in that sense. And it's not that hard if you just, put your mind to it, like give it a weekend and really think deeply about what kind of a trader do you want to be.
Of course. Yeah, no, I agree with you 100%. Now going into March, April, May, and then June, because like I said, we have your data for these 2 months. What was the process here? When did you start building consistency? When did you start seeing your account grow? When did you start saying, okay, I got it, I can increase size? Because I'm pretty sure starting off with 14 grand, you weren't in a situation to take the size you're probably taking now. That's allowing you to have 11K day, 10K day, which we'll jump into more, 12K, 11K, 9K. So it's during that process, what was it like?
Right. So the main way I got to that point is basically journaling. And so in February, right when I started, I was journaling consistently, right? So I was able to take my trades for the day, and then at the next day, because I'm in Dubai, right? So I journal my trades the next day. I'd wake up with a fresh mind, and I'd go over the trades that I did the previous day, and I would evaluate each entry, each exit, and I'd figure out where I'm going wrong. And that's the key. That's really just the key. Is figuring out where you're going wrong. Because if you never fix your mistakes, you never really improve. So I did that in February. I did that consistently. I didn't gain the consistency yet. But in March, I believe quarantine began in Dubai as well, and like the gyms shut down and stuff. And for me, going to the gym was almost therapeutic. So I didn't journal my trades for an entire month. And if you look at, I did send you the P&L data, but it's not there. But my month of March was completely flat. I think I broke even. And that was purely because I just stopped journaling my trades. I would make money one day, I would lose money the next day, I'd make the next day, and then I'd lose the next day. it was completely inconsistent. So, I mean, at the end of the month, it just hit me. I'm like, what am I doing with my life? If I want to succeed at this, I need to put in the effort. I need to dedicate the time. I need to, make it work. So I took one weekend at the end of the month of March, and I went through the entire month of March straight, and I figured out all my mistakes through that month. And literally after that weekend, I've never had a red week, and it's just because I was able to go back, fix my mistakes, and try my best not to repeat them. And I think since April, obviously my account wasn't that big at that time as well, right? But since April, I've gained that consistency, and just those small profits, they just keep adding up. And once you gain that consistency, you gain confidence, and that allows you to take more size. That's literally all it is.
Yeah, no. See, when you explain it, I say the same thing to people. It sounds very simple, but I think it's very hard to do or comprehend, if I must say. Because the whole idea, like you're saying, is when you're starting out, I think everyone's so focused on making 100K a month. Like, I'm pretty sure anyone watching this video is they're going to say, oh, I want to make 100K next month. I want to make 200K next month, and so on, which is fair and understandable. But it comes down to, bankroll management, which you just mentioned, is just building small profits, building that cushion that allows you to increase your size and increase your position, which is going to allow you to have a 10K day, have a 15K day, have a 5K day. Right, and I think you picked up that concept pretty quick too, man. Wow, I think the most impressive thing about all of this is not your 100K a month. Obviously, making that is phenomenal, but I think it's the period of time you've achieved this level of success in. Right, so and I'm pretty sure people are gonna watch this interview and go, oh, he did it in a year, he did it in 4 months, he did it in 5 months. I need to do it in 4 or 5 months, and I think that's also a little, separation where everyone has a different learning curve. Everyone has a different speed that they learn at. And you, which is amazing, picked up at a very, very fast pace. Like, you got the concepts very good. So I think that's a huge plus. Now, now going into the strategy, focusing. What are you trading? How are you trading? We're going to jump into that in a bit. But before we do that, I just want to go over some of your stats. So now when we go here, like I said, we only have July and we have August. So in July, I see your days: 2,700, 4,400, 1,800, 1,600, 3,300, 4,400, 2,900, 12,000. Wow. 1,500. Wow.
I think that was my first 5-figure day, the 13th of June.
Oh, this day right here? This was your first 5-figure day. Wow, amazing. That's amazing. Let's keep going. Let's say we go to August. 23. Okay, wow, you're having 7K. So the main thing I see here is you just have a lot of consistency of a lot of solid 4-figure days. You didn't have one big 80K day and then quote unquote got lucky. Like, because there are people.
Not really. I think it was more so just the consistency, because those profits add up.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Most people, I think what they overlook, when they see someone has a 100K day, and I've seen it in the past, they have one great day where, they didn't anticipate the trade or the swung trade, Amazon or Tesla calls, and they made a lot of money. But I think this right here that we see, guys, this is like real trading. Consistently showing up, making money day in and out. And the days you're losing money, I think this is super impressive, it's very small. I think your biggest loss, what I can see, is 3,500. That was on a Friday. Pretty sure you played 0 DT. Yeah, wow, that's impressive. I want to see your biggest day, 12,000. I want to see what pops up on that day. Wow, you were just slowly building that day. Wow, that's interesting. Now, let's dive into your strategy, your walkthrough, what you're looking at, what you're trading, how are you finding stocks, what time frames you use, any indicators, just so people, including myself, can better understand your trading style and like I said, what you're trading and how you're trading. These are phenomenal stats. You're just slowly building and building and building throughout the day. You're moving P&L, running P&L for the day. You're just building. Like, you're not having crazy drawdowns like majority of people. So I want to see one of your losing days.
I mean, it definitely does happen sometimes, but I don't think it happens a lot.
Yeah, no, these are phenomenal stats. I mean, I think your stats are pretty solid. 57% win rate, 961 winners, 734 losers, 187K. I think that's beyond phenomenal. I want to see your loss day, 3,500. yeah, I think win rate 40%. Yeah, your days are pretty solid. Okay, so now let's dive into the actual bread and butter, the actual trading, which is everyone is kind of curious about, and then we'll dive into your journaling process, and then we'll dive a little bit into the psychological aspect, right? So now trading. Let's walk through your weekly routine schedule, and then throughout that, let's dive deeper into your strategy, what you're trading, how you're finding stocks, and then your execution. So let's say we start from on Monday. It's Monday morning. How are you going about your day? What's your routine?
I'll start off from Sunday because that's where it really begins.
Sure.
So on Sunday, I'll go over the past week. I'll reset my levels. I'll probably draw out new levels through the whole top-down approach. I'd start from the daily, go down to the hourly, then go down to the 15 minutes, maybe smaller intraday levels. And I'll just gain a slight direction, an understanding of the direction of the overall market. And that prepares me for what to expect for the coming week.
Sure.
Now on Monday, after I have my levels set on Sunday, I'll look at the pre-market data, I'll look at the news, the upgrades, etc., what direction the market's opened up in, and I'll set my pre-market levels as anyone would on the trading day itself. And I'll just try to gain a little understanding on the certain key levels that I have to look at. And again, I'm looking at most of the times I'm looking at the same stocks, so I know how they move. And for me, that's Amazon and Tesla. It used to be Tesla. I mean, obviously after the stock split, I've got to gain my understanding of the stock again. But Amazon and Tesla was my bread and butter, so I'd be trading that almost every day. And then I'd also trade certain stocks with big news. So I'd have that on my watch list. So I'm basically looking for, like, for example, if I'm trading Amazon on the break, I'm looking for the correlation between Amazon and SPY. And if that's not there, I'm trying to look at, get an understanding of why it's not there, number one, and whether Amazon is going to continue moving even if SPY is not following in its direction. So I need to gain that understanding before the breakout happens. Because if I don't have that confidence, I'm probably not going to size up on the key level break. I do have an example of a trade, but we can go over that later. So also another thing that's important to me is position sizing at the right times. So if I see a general high of day break that has momentum, but it's not a key level, I'm not going to go in with my usual 10 contract size or like my maximum position size. I'll probably go in a little lower because it's not at a key level, right? So I'm probably going to, with Amazon at least, I'll probably scalp maybe $3-4 if it moves that much, or even less if it doesn't. I'll cut my losers quick because I know it's not a key level. So the demand of the supply is not kicking in at that level. But I will size up at the key level breaks that also co-align with the high of the day, and if SPY is pushing up or pushing down with Amazon or Tesla or whatever stock I'm trading, I will size up on those plays. So I think picking my position size for the right trades is another factor that is really important to me.
So for market internals, you're just looking at SPY. Are you looking at NQ or anything else, or just primarily?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on what I'm trading. Maybe for Amazon, I'll look at SPY, but for more of the tech stock like Facebook, Apple, and stuff, I'll be looking at NQ.
NQ, okay. So you start off your week Sundays. You redraw your levels. You're looking at the same stocks, from my understanding, over and over again. You have the same set of watch lists. As you're watching these stocks, Sunday you're looking at the forward week, planning out your week, reviewing your last week, correct? Okay, now going into Monday morning, let's say you have Amazon, Tesla. Are you looking for any new names, or are you primarily focusing on the same names?
So I have a watch list. Like on one of my screens, I have a watch list of 8 stocks, and I'd say about 5 to 6 of them are the stocks that I trade every single day. So that includes names like Amazon, Tesla, Facebook, Alibaba, Nvidia maybe. And then I'll leave 2 spaces for stocks that have news or some sort of catalyst that could potentially move on that day as well. And I might day trade it, or if I don't feel confident enough in it, I'll probably scalp it. But I do leave that space for stocks that do have news or some sort of catalyst.
Okay, so now going into the chart aspect, right? Now, what indicators are you using, and what time frames are you using to analyze your charts and make the execution?
So I gain an overall sense of direction using the hourly and the 15-minute. But when I'm scalping, I'm only looking mainly at the 1-minute and the 5-minute. On the 1-minute chart, I just have the VWAP, and yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. The VWAP and some levels. I don't have any other indicators except volume. On the 5-minute, I do have the 9 and the 21 EMA just to see again the sense of direction. So I know that like when the 9 and the 21 EMA crossover, there's a change in direction, stuff like that. So I just have it for a sense of direction. I don't really scalp around those indicators. I don't really scalp around the VWAP much either. Sometimes I might trade the VWAP break on the upside or the downside, but that's only if I have a sufficient cushion for the day and I'm willing to risk a little bit more just to make that extra buck. But other than that, I don't really use many indicators. On the 15-minute, I do have the Bollinger set up to get a sense of volatility.
Okay.
Yeah, other than that, not much. That's pretty much it.
Okay, so multiple time frame analysis, and you're working your way down on a scalping aspect. 1 minute to 5 minute primarily, using the hour and 15 for a bigger trend, and on indicators, VWAP on intraday levels, and the 9 and the 21-day EMA on the 5-minute, right?
Yeah.
Bollinger Bands on the 15-minute.
Yep.
Okay. And so now going into the day, you have all of this set up, and what are you using to chart? What are you using to execute? Like what broker, what?
I use interactive brokers for everything right now, even though many people say that charting on interactive is terrible. It is. I'm not going to lie. It's not that great at all. But I've just gotten comfortable using it. So, and like with switching a platform, you just don't feel like doing it because you get comfortable with the platform and you really don't feel like switching. But interactive hasn't been bad or anything in particular. So I'm fine using the charts on interactive for both executions and charting.
Working for you, 187K past 2 months. I mean, why not, right?
I don't really see the need.
Yeah, you know, just keep it up. I'm actually, like as you know, like TOS is having a lot of issues. So I'm actually slowly getting out of TOS for options. I'm still using TOS to trade stocks, but I'm slowly going into interactive or TradeStation. I've opened up a TradeStation account, but I think interactive might be it for options just because their executions are night and day compared to TOS, like phenomenal.
One thing for people watching, interactive looks extremely daunting when you first open it up. It's really not. It's really not. It's not as complicated as it seems.
I think it also, have you ever used another platform or you started just with interactive?
I mean, I did open a practice account, paper account with TOS and Tastyworks, but interactive is working for me.
How long did you use those accounts for?
TOS, I never really used it with real money because it didn't allow me to. It doesn't allow you.
Yeah, even for paper trading, how long were you on for paper trading?
Not very long, maybe like a month at the most.
Yeah,
I used a bunch, but that didn't have level 2 and diamond sales, so I just couldn't use it.
Yeah, no, I think that's why you got used to interactive, because I think interactive is very like old-fashioned, I guess, or outdated. So I think for people that have used, let's say, something that's more high-end or looks high-end, I guess, and then going backwards is harder.
Yeah, I think that's it. That's it.
Yeah,
that makes it much harder to just switch.
That's where it's harder. So I think that's why it's a little bit easier for you. But let's go through some trades, okay? I'm gonna go through some trades. So let me just recap everything before we dive into some stuff, right? Going to like a more recent day, I guess maybe possibly today. You had a $7,200 day today, so I think we'll dive into that. So let me just recap everything. So
that was yesterday, I think.
Oh, it's yesterday. I didn't have today's. Oh yeah, today's Thursday. So weekly prep, you do a weekly prep where you recap your trades, you look at the upcoming week, you reset your levels on Sunday. That's where your week starts. Monday comes in. How early are you showing up to the market?
I'm usually there about 4 p.m. Eastern time. I'm always there 4 p.m., maybe sometimes earlier. And then I set my pre-market levels. I go through the news. I set my...
Wait, you mean 4 p.m. your time? So how before? Because I know you're in Dubai.
Oh, yeah, my bad. Sorry.
Market's closing.
my bad. I mean, 4 p.m. my time, which is, I think, 8 a.m.
So about an hour and a half before the market opens. So
an hour and a half before market opens.
Hour and a half before the market opens. Before the market opens, you look at your stocks again, that you have a watch list of 6 to 8 stocks. You leave a slot open for 2 stocks that are moving or not. You typically trade the same names over and over again. You're using interactive to chart and execute. You're scalping options on the 1 minute and 5 minute. Only indicators you use are the VWAP, 9 and 21 EMA on the 5 minute, and on the 15 minute you use Bollinger Bands. And you're heavily focusing, I'm assuming, on price action because that's what, right? Okay.
Yep.
Perfect. Now, before we dive into that, I want to understand a little psychological aspect of this because there's a few things that's very impressive here that I think a lot of people don't see, but I see it because I've been through this whole process. Now, going to a journey where, you know, you make 2,000, 4,500, 1,800, 1,600, 3,300, 4,300, 2,900, and then you go, boom, 12 grand. How at this point do you maintain yourself at a level where you don't become cocky, you don't become overconfident, and you're able to show up tomorrow and still perform, still perform, still perform, still perform, still perform, still perform, still perform? Like what's the mindset? Because I think that's what even I want to know, because someone that's been trading under a year to, you know, have a 5-figure day and show up the next day and still perform, and the next day and keep performing and not let that big day get to them, to me is very, very impressive. So I'm curious about this myself. What's the mindset there?
So I think after that day, right, that was obviously my biggest day, my first 5-figure day. And it was a big deal for me because obviously, like, I'm only 19 and making $12,000 a day is a huge deal for me as well. But I think the key thing that I took away from that day is I embraced the profit. It was a great day for me. I was super happy. And literally after the day, like, I enjoyed myself. But then when I came back to the market next day, I needed to reset completely. And I think that's what's important when you have big days or when you have bad days. What's important is that you come back to the market the next day and you need to forget about what happened the previous day. You need to take the mistakes or the good things from that day, but you don't need to take the profit or the dollar value of that day into the next trading day.
Okay, so how do you reset? So what do you do? So let's say you have a 12K day. Obviously, anyone having a 12K day is huge, especially at 19. I think that is mind-blowing, right? So you have a 12K day. How are you resetting so the next day when you do show up, you're not letting that, you know, hinder anything? Like what are you doing to reset there?
I think you just have to constantly remind yourself, and it's something that I do as well. You just have to constantly remind yourself that this is just a step or a stage in the process, and at any moment that can all be taken away from you. So you have to stay humble. So like you might have one crazy day, but if you don't stay level-headed, and if you keep thinking about that profit, the market is going to take it back right away. So what I did at least was I tried my best to just forget about the money. It's hardly ever about the money. For me, when I started off trading, I never had a goal to make a 5-figure day before, whenever. My only goal was to be consistent and was to have good trading days, essentially take on good trades. So you need to go back to where you came from. You need to understand what your original goal was, and sure, you might have one great day, you might have one bad day, but that doesn't change the fact that, you know, you've set out specific goals for yourself when you started. So go back to where you come from and just embrace the process all over again.
Yeah, no, I love that. I love what you said, and I think for everyone watching, do not let what he said go over your head. I think it's super important to know when you do start out, don't focus on having a 5-figure day or making X amount a month. Just focus on the process, show up every day, because that's going to keep you in the game longer, and it's also going to help you when you have these big days or when you have a bad day, right? So this, once again, man, this is beyond impressive to have a big day and then show up, because typically what I see happen, and this is what happens with people, they have a 12K day, 5K, 9K, 6K, 11K, all red. They just start burning through money because they want to replicate that, right? Mm-hmm. Now, going on to these days, now this is based on July, this is your first back-to-back loss.
Right.
Now here, what happens for someone that's, you know, starting on their first year, you have 2 back-to-back red days. Obviously, you're very, very green, but how do you come out of that? How do you come out of that and show up back on Monday?
Okay, so I mean, obviously, if you look at the week before that, it was already a crazy week. I think I had 7K on Monday, 10K on Tuesday, and then 3K on Wednesday. So I was already at my biggest week yet. So I had that cushion. That was the first thing. So I guess the red day wasn't affecting me as much as it should have. But okay, yeah, I remember on Thursday, I was actually down 5K at one point. If you open up the daily thing for that, I don't know what it's called, but I think I was down 5K at some point.
Oh yeah, 5,500.
Yeah.
Wow.
Right. So what I did in that point in that day is I tried to, like I told you earlier, I just tried to like get level-headed again, remind myself of what my original goal was. It's not to make money every day. It's not to get rich overnight. I just wanted to have good trades and be consistent. So what I did was I took a step back. I took a break of half an hour. I came back to the market. I didn't force any trades on that day itself. And I just waited for some A+ setups. That's all I did. and I managed to recover some of the profits. But then going back to what you were saying about the back-to-back red days, I actually spoke to Jay about this because he gave me some really good advice. And at that point I was on a green streak, right? So I didn't really know how to deal with it. But what he told me was, and it's really important, is when you have back-to-back red days, what you need to do is you need to come back and you need to size down completely. You literally need to forget that you were on that hot streak, if you were on a hot streak, or if you weren't on a hot streak, either ways, you need to size down and focus on the setups. Because when you size down, or if you're only trading one contract, if you go further out the money, it's a cheaper contract, right?
Of course.
When you size down, what you do is you're able to get rid of those emotions that you have when trading sides. So even though I completely sized down on Monday, I still had a pretty good day.
Yeah, no, I mean, like I said, the two things about this is these are, to me, when I see this is impressive because these are roadblocks, because this is like, wow, I'm successful, I'm great, I'm on top of the world, I'm the best trader, green, at least $1,000 a day. And then you come and you're like, whoa, that, just these 2 days, typically, once again, very impressive that you kept it very minimal. Even if you had a negative 5K day, even though, be it large or whatever you want to call it, that's still relatively good compared to your biggest day and your trades for the past week and so on. Now, going into Monday, like you said you came back, you sized down, and you started building up that consistency again, right?
So that whole last week of July, I had completely sized down. I think Friday was some big company's earnings. I don't remember. And I was ready to size up on that day, which I did. But the whole week before that, I had sized down completely, and I just waited for that setup. I think it was Amazon's earnings. Was I trading puts? Yeah, I think it was Amazon.
Puts, yeah. Yeah, your account, you were flat on most of your trades starting out, and then you just started picking up like crazy at a certain point. Wow. 62% win rate, huge ROI, 33% return. Wow, that's phenomenal. All right, so that's July, right? Now, going from July, you have a great month, phenomenal month, right? You go into August. How are you able to carry that momentum into August on a mindset aspect to go and continue this? So you have 2,300, 600, you build momentum, one losing day, solid momentum, right? Yeah. So how are you able to go into the next month with the same consistency? Like, are you changing anything? Are you doing the same thing? Are you overconfident? Like, what's going on?
Right. So like it is with every single week, the same thing goes for with every single month. When you come into a new month, it's a fresh start. If you had a bad month before that, you got to reset. If you had a good month before that, you have to reset. So the first week of the first day of the first month, I'm always sizing down. That's just rule number one, because you want to build a cushion that's sustainable rather than taking a fat loss on the first day of the month, and that just gets you up in the wrong mindset. And the first month of August was actually, it was a little shaky for me, I think. It wasn't, I think I didn't trade the best. I don't remember. I think I didn't trade the best as I could have. But once again, what I did was I came back the next day. I just tried to trade better and essentially size down.
Yeah, no, I see your first week into that month was not like super green, right?
It was a shaky first week. I'm pretty sure I remember it was a shaky first week.
Yeah, 800 down first day, 252 green the next day, 1900, 3000, 2700. So you obviously ended green, strong week, but I think starting the week off was a little bit slow. Okay, 2900 going in, and then I see your biggest day based off all of this was probably the 26th, 14,000.
Yep.
I think the impressive thing also about your P&L is there's a consistency aspect. I think if you guys take a look at his daily P&L for the day, how it moved based on each order, it's going up, right? I noticed there are some days where it was shaky, like that $200 day that we just kind of broke down. Like here I saw it was a little bit shaky. Like see you were up 2,600 and then you blew it off, I think in a bad trade, but you picked it right back up. And then you walk out.
And one thing to remember is like I've done this. It's not like I don't do this at all, but there are days where I'm up like 5K and then I drop it all the way back down to like break even, maybe even negative sometimes. But when I get to that point, I completely just take a step back out of the charts for 30 minutes and I come back to the market with a fresh mind, essentially, and sizing down again for that day itself. And I just want to focus on those A+ setups.
Okay, it's phenomenal. Okay. Now, what are A+ setups to you? Like, what are those setups that you're looking for? I know you explained the key levels and all that, but if I was to ask you in a way to explain to someone starting out, what are those A+ setups?
For me, I guess I do have a checklist. So an A+ setup is essentially when the key level aligns with the high of the day or the low of the day and SPY correlation is there, as well as you see strong momentum building up on the tape with strong volume. And like obviously reading the tape with stocks that you're familiar with happens over time. It doesn't just happen overnight. You have to like practice, practice, practice. And it's only something that happens when you keep looking at that specific stock's tape. But if you're able to see all those factors get checked off, that's an A+ trade for me. That's an A+ setup. And even if it ends up being a loss, even if it ends up being a fake out, that's still an A+ setup. And if you're able to cut the loss at that point when you're supposed to and you follow the plan, that's all you can ask for.
Yeah, that's phenomenal. That's a good point you brought up. Just getting used to the losses, especially if it's an A+ setup. Right, that's a great point. Now on a personal level, right? Because I'm pretty sure you realize that there's a lot of personal things from your personal life that affect trading, such as diet, sleep, and I focus a lot on this because I want people to also focus on it and implement it. What are some things you do? I know you mentioned you go to the gym. That's the place where you kind of relieve everything. Do you meditate? How's your sleep schedule? I know since you live in Dubai, you don't have to get up early in the morning. What's your sleep schedule? What's your diet? Like, do you focus on these things? How much emphasis do you put on your health? And when you did put emphasis, or if you did, how much correlation did you see with trading, with the health aspect?
So of course, coming out of quarantine was hard because like I lost motivation and I put on weight and stuff and I wasn't in the best of shape. But I think it's more important that you get back on track and essentially find that rhythm. For me, like I think I trade till 12. The market shuts at 12 a.m. and I sleep at about 1:30 to 2. That's a little late, but then I wake up at like 9. So I think I try to get about 7 to 7.5 hours of sleep every day. And then I start my day off by just having breakfast, and then I go over my trades from the previous day because it's still fresh in my mind. So I go over the trades, I do a little work, and then I try and hit the gym. And for me, like I said, like gym is therapeutic. Obviously, like health is important, but it doesn't have to be going to the gym. Like I think maintaining health plays a huge role in maintaining your mental stability as well. And I think things like yoga, meditation, it's all pretty much the same thing, but you need to have that one factor in your life that keeps you level-headed and keeps you stable. And yeah, for me, that's gym. So then I come back from the gym at around 3 p.m. I shower, and then I'm on my desk at 4 p.m. ready for the market open. So I prepare for the market open at 5:30.
Interesting. No, I bring that up because for me personally, I think having that mental stability is super important, and you really, really need to have it if you want to take trading seriously. So, so I don't know. So meditating, going to the gym, and all these things play such a huge role. Now let's just go over last two things. I just want to break down possibly a trade or something. So we'll go over possibly a trade tomorrow. Yesterday, a trade that you took yesterday on Wednesday. Do you know any trade in mind that you took that we can possibly break down?
I have a trade setup of Amazon on the 31st of August. I wasn't sure if you were going to ask of August month or like September or whatever.
That's fine. Amazon. So if you have it on your screen, I can share you can share your screen, or I can do it on mine, whatever you're cool with.
We can do it on mine, but I'm using IB, so the charts are they're pretty much ugly.
All right, we'll do it here. That's fine.
All right. I can walk you through the entire process, like what I was thinking.
Perfect. Okay, so Monday, August 31st, right? Amazon trade. So I see you have a lot of Amazon trades. So which Amazon trade? You have a bunch of calls.
Okay, I can. It was a 3,500 call. No wait, the 3,500 call.
3,500 calls. So there's a few.
Well, there's a lot of executions. It was the one at 10 a.m.
Okay, so you're still talking about Eastern time, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go to, let me go on a minute time frame.
Yep.
Okay, I'll go 5 days back. I don't know what I got stuck in my throat right now. It just threw me off completely. 31st, okay.
All right.
Yes, okay, so we got 31st right here. So this is 31st, right? You're saying at about 10 a.m. Eastern time.
Right.
So we're looking at about somewhere here, okay?
Yeah.
Let me go right here and check out some of the trades. We obviously have one right here. So this is a 10 a.m. trade. So this 10 a.m. trade, wow, okay. So you got in at exactly 10 a.m., 20 seconds into 10 a.m. You got in 4, 1, 5, 10 contracts.
Mm-hmm.
So this is where I'm assuming you got in. Right here.
Yep.
So now right here, what makes you go into Amazon? What makes you take 10 contracts for this day?
Okay, so what I have is I have the pre-market level of 34.27. I think it was around 34.27, and we also have the previous high of day. The previous market day's high of day was about 34.33, if I remember correctly.
Okay, so we have yesterday's high of the day. Nice. Yesterday's high of the day. You have pre-market high somewhere around here, you're saying, right?
It was about 34.27-ish, something like that.
Yeah, right there.
So I have those two levels, and that's essentially a range for me now, right? So like if I see a break of 34.30, I'm expecting a little bit of resistance from that 34.33 to 34.35 range. So I didn't trade the first breakout because I wanted to see if that was just another fake out, because it did fake that the pre-market high of day a bunch of times before that.
So it breaks the first one. So obviously you don't take the first trade right there.
Right.
And you said you didn't take the first trade because what?
Because that range is there. So I wanted to see that it wasn't just going to be another fake out. And obviously when Amazon runs, it really runs, right? So what I'm looking for is I want to see that the pre-market highs hold, which it did quite perfectly. And my first entry was then the break of 3435. So I entered 5 contracts at the 3435 break. And I was then looking to scale in if we could break the high of the day, which was I think 3437. But I think with the entry, that moved really fast. So I scaled in 5 at the break of 3435. And with Amazon, it's usually these $5 increments or the $10 increments that matter the most.
Correct.
So 3435, 5 in, and then I add at 3440, I think is where I got my next entry. And obviously at this time, I'm also considering the tape. I'm seeing that buyers are stepping in aggressively, and I saw the 3440 level clear out almost instantly on the ask side. So I knew that the buying pressure was there, and I was expecting a strong push up. So I added there, and then I scaled out 5 at the top of the 10 a.m. candle, I think.
Yeah, I see. Right. So this is all in a matter of 30 seconds to all under a minute, basically.
Right. So when I scalp, I'm entering with size. Right? I'm entering a pretty big position.
Right.
So what I do is this is my personal strategy. I know that some people try and hold as much as far as possible, but when I'm entering with size, I will enter maybe 10, and then when I see that there's even the slightest rejection, I'm going to take half off right away, just to lock in that profit.
Sure.
So what I did was I saw it break all the way to 3447-ish, and when I saw that rejection, I took 5 off right away.
Okay.
Then I saw the next candle open up. It opened up strong. I think it pushed up, and then it dropped back down. So then I wasn't willing to get caught in a fake out, or like not a fake out, a pullback or a reversal. So I took the next 5 off. I think at the middle of the candle, somewhere near the same price where I took off the first 5.
Wow. Okay. All right. So yeah, I see you scaled in, and then you as soon as it moved up about 2 points, 3 points, you scaled out. Now, question: why not hold? Obviously, there's a big move, and 2020. You're going back. Hindsight is always great, and it's like obviously if you held this, let's just say until wherever, you could have made a lot more. Why not hold?
So what I do is but at least when I'm scalping, what I do is I'm usually going to be in and out of 80% of my position, and then I'll hold 2 runners for as long as possible. But I think with this trade, I had my order set up as buy 5, sell 3, sell 3, sell 2, sell 2. So when I was exiting the trade, I didn't have time to really switch up and make it a different position size. So I exited the entire position. And then as well, along with that, I think we have an all-time high of Amazon at around on this day, it was about 3455, I think.
Okay.
Or 3450, I don't remember. But I was expecting a rejection at 3450. So I was willing to watch the break of 3450 and then enter on the retest of that.
No, interesting. Yeah, no, I see. I was just asking that because a lot of people that are scalpers, they've asked me questions like, oh, I have a hard time holding and missing out on big plays, and my answer to that is you're a scalper. You're not gonna get in here and ride it out. That's not what you're doing. You're getting
100%. I never try and do that unless I'm specifically holding an extra runner contract, like a 1 contract or an extra runner of 2 contracts. unless I've planned that out beforehand, I'm not going to hold through an entire move just because I haven't mentally prepared for that.
Yeah, no, this is, like I said, so this is scalping, you know, for people that don't understand that this is primarily scalping. If you even look at the order executions and the seconds, it's like getting in, seeing the spread go higher, the ask go higher on the option premium, option contract, and then also seeing the stock push higher and higher. And, you know, I'm pretty sure this is how you're constantly taking on trades to just, you know, kind of get in and get out in under a minute or 2 minutes. Wow. Now, next question for this, how do you mentally take these trades and execute at the rate you execute? Like, how did you improve your execution? Because I know people that scalp, they can find these type of plays, but some people, they have an issue with the execution process. So what do you do for execution? What has helped you execute? Because executing under these few seconds, because I can tell right off the bat, this is not just one day. You do this day in and out. So since you do it day in and out, what's something that has helped you or improved your execution at this level? Because this is phenomenal execution, man.
So definitely one thing is just the consistency. And when you're consistently able to take on trades, and I wasn't taking on these 10 contract trades when I started. It was just impossible to do that. I would barely be able to hold through like one contract of Tesla or Amazon back in the day, right? So I think the most important part of it is just building consistency, because when you build consistency in your plan and in the trades that you take, that essentially converts into the confidence that you have in the plan and the confidence that you have in the system that you're trading on. And like that's pretty much it. Because when you have confidence, you're taking the emotional factor out of it. You're essentially not scared. You don't have that fear of losses. And if you have a small account and you're trying to build that consistency, you can go further out the money. You don't have to be risking as much to be able to hold through these massive pullbacks. There's always a way out. I think it's 99% consistency, just being able to take the trades every single day, day in, day out, and add those profits up.
Interesting. Yeah, no, but I'm looking at the executions. Your executions on here are insane. Even some of your other trades, your executions in a minute, in, out. And, you know, I'm 100% like, for people like, see, if I'm trading this on TOS, I'm not getting the same. Even if I'm great at executing, I'm not getting these fills. Like, that's not happening on TOS anyways. I go over the last two things. Just want to see this day. All right, now last two things that I wanted to ask. Number one was on the journaling process. What's your journaling process like? Because you mentioned journaling has really helped you. So what's that process like?
I do have an Excel sheet that I started back when I started trading, and what I do is I have all my trades open, because Interactive produces these reports, right? So it has the exact time of the entries and the exits. So I have my Excel sheet and I have the exact times of the trades that you take. So what I do is I open my charts and I go through each execution and I see where my entries were, where my exits were. I don't usually record my trades, but like this is just me personally. It might not be the same with everyone. I just have I sort of remember my trades really well, and I'm able to go back in time essentially and like understand my thought process. So I don't really need to record my trades. But what I do is I go back to the chart and I see each trade, the entry, the exit, and I go back to my emotional state and the technical state, and I try to remember what I was going through at that moment of time. And I note down the contract, the strike price, the entry price, the exit price, and then most importantly is I have a grading system like ABC, whatever, and I have a comment section for trading, for the technical aspect, and then the emotional aspect. So what I do is I go back, I think about what my emotional state was, and I try and correct whatever was wrong at that point of time. And if you do that if you do that sufficiently, that sort of gets ingrained in your head, because you're reminding yourself day in, day out, don't do this, do that, don't do this, do that. And after a while, it just sticks.
Yeah, no, 100%. I always mention journaling is super important. That's where like the whole idea of Tradezilla kicked in too, just to showcase people the importance of journaling. Because I think when you really journal and record your performance from a psychological aspect and from a technical side, you not only learn about your trading style, but you also learn more about yourself and know, how you perform and what you need to improve on, where you suck, and all these things. So I think having a proper journaling system is super important, just to kind of like journal every day, even if you just have a notebook. Like what I used to do before, I used to personally have notebooks and I used to write down my day, how I'm feeling, how I'm going through a trade step by step. And that itself used to like, really, really, really help me out. So that's great. So last thing, before we end it, what is some advice you would give to someone? Let's say you were to go back to yourself in February. What is some advice that you would give yourself based on the success you've had now?
Well, there's a lot of things, but I think what's really the most important part in trading is because most people tend to compare themselves to other traders who've been doing it for a much longer time and seen much greater success. But that's never going to be this. It's never going to be the same with you itself. So what I'd say is essentially you just want to trust the process, trust the journey. Don't rush the process. And going from making $100 a day to making $10,000 a day, essentially. It doesn't happen overnight, but these small profits, they add up. The consistency that you get, the consistent profits, they build up. And then with that comes confidence. And with the confidence, you're able to size up and trust in your play. You're able to use those profits efficiently. And it's just about, following through the entire journey. It's not like you can go from 0 to 100 in 1 second. You've got to go through every stage in order to get success.
Of course. Yeah, I think that's huge. I think a lot of people need to soak that in and process that, because starting out, for anyone that is starting out or someone that is in a place of trading, even watching this interview and seeing his success or someone else's success, great, use this for inspiration and learn from it, but don't try to replicate the same amount of numbers or whatever the case is overnight, because I think that's the fastest way for you to, take on bad trades or crush your account. So just take it day by day. But with that being said, thank you so much, man. Thank you so much for hopping on and sharing, these amazing insights with us. I learned a lot from this interview myself, and I'm pretty sure people watching are going to too. I'm excited to see how I'm excited to see how you close out the year, man. But thank you once again. Thank you so much. I appreciate it, man.
Thank you for having me on. It's been an honor and a privilege to be able to, put my journey out there and help other people out as well.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. Like I said, I'm stoked to see your numbers in December, at the end of December. I mean, at this rate,
I gotta keep up consistency.
Yeah, you keep it up. Yeah, listen, you keep it up. That's phenomenal. We'll circle back at the end of the year, because I'm actually personally very curious to see how some people close out the year, and just because once again at 19, this is like super inspiring. Even me seeing this is just honestly motivating me to do better. I'm like, wow, this is insane. So keep it up, man. I'll keep in touch with you. Yeah, I'll keep in touch with you. And once again, thank you so much.
Thanks. See you.
Man, see you around, man. Take care.